U.S. President Joe Biden said on Thursday there was now every indication Russia was planning to attack Ukraine. His comments came after reports Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed rebels traded fire across a tense front line. And America's top diplomat warned the flare-up could be used as a pretext by Moscow to send in troops.
Our information indicates clearly that these forces, including ground troops, aircraft, ships, are preparing to launch an attack against Ukraine in the coming days.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the UN Security Council and said that American intelligence believed Russia was ready to choreograph a false justification to launch its attack.
It could be a fabricated so-called terrorist bombing inside Russia. The invented discovery of a mass grave, a staged drone strike against civilians, or a fake, even a real attack using chemical weapons.
Blinken pleaded with Moscow to choose diplomacy over conflict.
Diplomacy is the only responsible way to resolve this crisis.
Russia denies planning to invade its neighbor and said this week it was pulling back some of the more than 100,000 troops it had massed near the frontier. And Russia's defense ministry on Thursday released a video statement claiming more Russian units were leaving the area near the border.
Y medios internacionales informaron de una ruptura al alto el fuego en la región del Donbass. El ejército ucraniano afirma que fuerzas separatistas atacaron con proyectiles un pueblo, mientras las fuerzas respaldadas por Rusia aseguran que fueron las tropas ucranianas que abrieron fuego en territorio ruso. Bueno, estas son algunas de las imágenes liberadas por las agencias de Lugansk, una de las regiones separatistas prorrusas bajo enfrentamientos desde el año 2014, cuando tuvo lugar la anexión rusa de Crimea. Y mientras muchos ciudadanos de Ucrania dudan que Rusia arriesga a atacar a su país, los socios de la OTAN dicen mantenerse en alerta.
Desde hace algunos días el gobierno ruso afirma estar retirando tropas de las zonas cercanas a la frontera con Ucrania para regresar a sus bases. Moscú difundió estas imágenes del traslado de tanques y vehículos militares. Pero los aliados de la OTAN y Ucrania no bajan la guardia, pues desconfían de estas declaraciones. La situación está siendo observada por nuestro ejército. No vemos ningún cambio, solo una gran acumulación de tropas. Nada ha cambiado en las últimas semanas. Solo observamos leves rotaciones. Yo no llamaría a estas rotaciones la retirada de fuerzas por parte de Rusia. No podemos afirmarlo. Estas imágenes de una compañía de satélites estadounidense parecen mostrar la presencia de fuerzas militares a lo largo de la frontera con Ucrania en Bielorrusia y Crimea, la península que Rusia se anexionó en 2014. Los miembros de la OTAN afirman que Rusia, en lugar de retirarse, refuerza su presencia. Unos 7.000 soldados adicionales se habrían desplazado hacia la frontera en los últimos días. Para Occidente aún no se aprecian signos concretos de una desescalada por parte de Rusia.
Yesterday, the Russian government publicly proposed to continue the diplomacy. I agree. We should give the diplomacy every chance to succeed. And I believe there are real ways to address our respective security concerns. The United States has put on the table concrete ideas to establish a security environment in Europe. We're proposing new arms control measures, new transparency measures, new strategic stability measures. These measures would apply to all parties, NATO and Russia alike. We're willing to make practical result-oriented steps that can advance our common security. We will not sacrifice basic principles, though. Yesterday, nations have a right to propose to continue the diplomacy. I agree. We should give the diplomacy every chance to succeed. And I believe there are real ways to address our respective security concerns. The United States has put on the table concrete ideas to establish a security environment in Europe. We're proposing new arms control measures, new transparency measures, new strategic stability measures. These measures would apply to all parties, NATO and Russia alike. We're willing to make practical result-oriented steps that can advance our common security. We will Yesterday,
to talk to some of our crew, the officers who are involved in very, very important intelligence gathering and surveillance, and some of the planes here today are going to be used very shortly over the border in Belarus, Poland, and elsewhere over Ukraine to see what's going on and to allow us to have an even finer, detailed evaluation of the military dispositions there. The picture is continuing to be very grim, and today, as I'm sure you've already picked up, a kindergarten was shelled in what we're taking to be was a false flag operation designed to discredit the Ukrainians, designed to create a pretext, a spurious provocation for Russian action. We fear very much that is the kind of thing we'll see more of over the next few days, and what we're doing is making sure that we do everything to strengthen the package of sanctions that will follow immediately should there be a Russian invasion. We're strengthening the eastern frontier of NATO, and I'll be going to the European Security Conference in Munich a little bit later on over the weekend to talk about what we're going to do to unify the West.
Some units will be returning to bases following the conclusion of drills. We have seen no evidence that Russian forces are withdrawing from Ukrainian border regions. Russia retains a significant military presence that can conduct an invasion without further warning. Why does President Putin want to go to war? He views Ukraine as a strategically important buffer zone with NATO. He thinks Ukraine is culturally and historically part of Russia. It does not accept Ukraine as an independent state, but it is an independent state. President Putin is unhappy with Ukraine's leaning towards NATO and wants to bring it back into Russia's control. Russia built up an abnormal number of military forces along Ukraine's border. Our intelligence tells us Russia rapidly started building up forces again. They were spread between annexed Crimea, Belarus, and southwestern Russia. Our intelligence also shows increased levels of abnormal Russian naval activity. This includes exercises in the North Atlantic, Baltic Sea, and Mediterranean. Now let's look at what is happening today.
为促进国际和地区和平与发展做出的贡献有目共睹，毋庸置疑。世界上谁是真正的麻烦制造者，谁是真正的安全威胁者，国际社会看得十分清楚。任何自私自利、嫁祸他人的做法，不仅会对本国和本国人民造成伤害，而且会给世界各国人民带来伤害。
If President Putin chooses conflict, considerable numbers of civilians will die. Defense intelligence assesses that he would be willing to sustain thousands of casualties to get what he wants. But President Putin can still choose peace. He can choose diplomacy and to de-escalate tensions. He can choose to prevent conflict.
Не на каждых учениях можно увидеть подвешенную на бомбардировщик противокорабельную крылатую ракету Х-22 «Буря». По своим габаритам она даже превосходит подводную торпеду. Длина 11 метров, вес 6 тонн. Настоящая убийца авианосцев.
I am here today, not to start a war, but to prevent one. The information I presented here is validated by what we've seen unfolding in plain sight before our eyes for months. And remember that while Russia has repeatedly derided our warnings and alarms as melodrama and nonsense, they have been steadily amassing more than 150,000 troops on Ukraine's borders